I want to know the real Playboy Carti story. I want to see what drove him to make this good ass music he be making. This one only 9 minutes. You'll watch this one. It's only 9 minutes, but
That's the one of the hardest beats I ever.
These niggas mad at me, how a young nigga living. Carti walked in, they
I remember seeing that video.
been trapping at the hotel since they let me out on bail. They don't let me out of hell. And pull up to this shit, cause real niggas don't tell.
Jordan Carter was born on September 13, 1996. He grew up in the suburbs of Riverdale in Atlanta, Georgia. Although he grew up in a suburb, Riverdale was known for its higher crime rates. Jordan grew up listening to artists like Michael Jackson, Prince, Young Jeezy, and his favorite rapper Currency. When he was young, he would freestyle a lot. The first time his family actually heard him freestyle, they threw dollar bills on him as a joke and hyped him up to keep going. He never really thought anything of it growing up and would never actually write down a song. In high school, he got really involved with basketball, to the point where he believed if he really tried, he could go pro. He started smoking weed every day before practice, and his grades would be mediocre at best all through high school. He eventually got into a fight with his basketball coach and quit the team. His friends would tell him to start recording real music since they thought he had what it took. After thinking about it, and now that his hoop dreams were
crazy, bro. He could have been in an A probably. Like, you never know, bro. He probably was nice. Had a fight with his coach. All that went out the window. That's crazy.
He decided to start writing his first songs. He recorded his first song on GarageBand and titled it Cry. He decided to go with the name Sir Cartier, and he even shot a music video for the song. He would get into music pretty fast, to the point where he was skipping class just to write down songs. While in high school, he dropped his very first project, Young Misfit. You can still listen to it to this day on YouTube. He got his first jobs at a grocery store and later H&M because he always had an interest in fashion and clothes.
Like, fashion is just a way for me to express myself without speaking, you know?
He would continue to make music for the rest of high school and even quit his job at H&M after feeling embarrassed that a customer asked if he made music and recognized him. He would barely graduate school after completing a ton of makeup homework in the last couple weeks. He was so close to not graduating that his family thought he wasn't and didn't even show up to watch him walk the stage. Knowing that he wasn't going to college, he decided to go harder with his music and created a SoundCloud under his new name, Playboy Carti. One of his friends knew an Atlanta producer who he thought Carti would work well with. The producer's name was Ethereal, and he was known for being very selective with who he works with. But because Carti's friends spoke highly of him, they would meet in the studio. When Carti got to the studio, he told Ethereal he wanted to hear unique beats, no trap beats. The two started to have good chemistry and started working on music a lot. Ethereal would introduce Carti to a guy named Father, who was the founder of the underground label Awful Records. He dropped his very first song called Young Zanho on SoundCloud, and after Father heard this, he would sign Carti to Awful Records as well.
The moment I realized that it was people out there that liked my music, that pushed me. That was enough.
Under his new label, which was just starting to gain a buzz around Atlanta, he dropped his songs Lost and Talk. Even this early on, you can hear how ahead of its time this music was. It was unlike all the music coming out of Atlanta in 2014. This is where he really started to find his style and run with it. In late 2014, he would make friends with another producer who was trying to make a name for himself, Mexico Dro. Mexico Dro and Carti's music just seemed to work good together, almost too good, and once again ahead of its time. When Carti started using his beats, it was like he entered another mode. Mexico quickly became his go-to producer. They would record songs like Money Counter, Plug, and By Myself No Help. With Ethereal and Mexico Dro feeding Carti beats, his music on SoundCloud was finally starting to catch the attention of a wider audience. His SoundCloud followers and plays started to rise. He could really see everything coming together, but was still very underground. In 2015, he decided to relocate from Atlanta to New York, where he would sleep on his weed plug's floor.
I had to get up that the inspiration was to get up out of Atlanta.
He can recall ASAP Bari coming to his plug's house to buy weed and recognizing him, not knowing at the time how influential this would be. With Carti's music starting to buzz around, he would start to make a lot more friends in high places. And as I mentioned before, he always had a taste for fashion. This would lead him to making friends with Ian Connor in New York, who was a very popular online influencer and well established in the fashion scene. Ian and Carti would become especially close, to the point where Ian asked to manage Carti. With this being said, he decided to part ways with his label Awful Records. Ian would play a huge role in getting his music heard. He would frequently post Carti's music to his hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and Twitter. Not only did this help Carti accumulate new fans, but it would also get his music in front of other mainstream artists. At South by Southwest in 2015, Carti and Ian would attend a house party where Ian introduced him to ASAP Rocky. Rocky told
Action.
Carti he had heard some of his music and really liked it. With the two already having a common interest in music and fashion, it wouldn't take long for them to become good friends. In April, he dropped his song Broke Boy, and it instantly brought his face to the top of the underground music scene, gaining millions of plays on SoundCloud and YouTube, as well as blog exposure from sites like Complex. With millions of people now paying attention to him, it was only right he dropped another song. A month after Broke Boy came out, he released another single, Fetty, featuring Dash and Maxo Cream. Once again, the song was an underground hit. This momentum would lead him to officially signing to ASAP Mob in October of that year.
Once he reached out to me, that was just crazy, bro. Like, what?
With a ton of hype behind being ASAP Mob's newest
A$AP?
member, Ian Connor announced on Twitter that the new Playboy Carti tape was coming very soon. Unfortunately, the tape
Bro, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy. He went to his producer, say, "Yo, find me a different sound, bro. I don't want to do no trap beats. I don't want to rap like these dudes." He just unlocked a whole new genre, bro. Like, bro, that's crazy, bro. Like, that's motivation right there.
never came, and he would go through a long period of time after this where he really only dropped a few songs like What and V-Lone Thug with Uno the Activist. He was featured on the ASAP Mob's Cozy tapes, but no solo music was dropped, leaving his fans to listen to snippets and leaks to stay hyped for his music. This is also around the time he would link up with rising star Lil Uzi Vert. The two would drop their first track together titled Left Right, and instantly tie the fans into their dynamic duo. In September of 2016, A$AP Rocky announced to the world that Carti had just signed a deal with Interscope Records, and also teased fans once again that his tape was coming soon. But no tape came. In 2017, the hype around Carti's tape was at an all-time high, with some fans' patience running low. In multiple interviews, he stated that it was on the way, but producer problems
Let me show you why I stopped paying for all my other sample libraries. This is Arcade by Output. This thing has sounds, samples,
caused delays. Just a few months into 2017, Carti took a trip down to Atlanta. He was recording in a studio with rapper K Supreme when he gave him a beat from an unknown Atlanta producer. The producer was Pierreborn, and Carti would record his verse to Woke Up Like This and send it off to Lil Uzi for a feature. Initially, Pierre was upset because he liked to work with people face to face in the studio, and K Supreme wasn't supposed to give that beat away. After getting a hold of Carti, they talked about everything, and before they knew it, Carti and Uzi were teasing the song on social media. About a month later, they would link up for the first time in person. When Carti heard Pierre's beats, he started redoing his whole album, falling in love with these new songs. It's like he was waiting to find a new producer who matched the way he was feeling at that time, and the music really showed that. This inspired him to drop 2 singles from his tape to give fans something to look forward to. Both songs featured Lil Uzi and were produced by Pierre. They were Woke Up Like This and Lookin'. These songs would be massive success and help introduce the world to Pierreborn as well.
Man, me and Pierre, especially.
Songs that got me, those two
used to
songs right
sleep
there
in the
that
studio.
I started listening to Carti.
In April of 2017, his life would change forever after dropping his self-titled tape, Playboy Carti. The tape had 6 songs produced by Pierre and 1 by Mexico Dro. Magnolia would bring his name from the underground all the way to the mainstream, and it would turn out to be one of the biggest songs of the year, going 2 times platinum. This would earn him a spot on the XXL 2017 list, but shortly after, he would once again go through a long period of time with no new music, besides being featured on the ASAP Cozy tapes again. With old fans and new fans highly anticipating new music, he would announce a collab tape with Lil Uzi Vert. Unfortunately, after multiple songs were leaked online, and after Uzi had to cancel his part of their tour, the tape simply never came. In 2018, Pierreborn would tweet that Carti's debut album was officially complete, and he would drop Love Hurts featuring Travis Scott. Just a month after Pierre tweeted that, Playboy Carti dropped his debut album, Die Lit, which debuted this time at number 3 and sold 64,000 its first week, giving Carti yet another huge win. It wouldn't take long for him to take to social media once again to announce another album, Whole Lotta Red. As of 2020, Carti has left his fans hanging on the edge of their seat anticipating his second studio album. It's been over 2 years, leaving fans to once again rely on features and leaked songs to hold them over. On November 24th, 2020, he stated that the album was finished and turned into the label, leaving many to think the wait was finally over. Despite the fact that Carti's music has been extremely scarce over the years, it goes to show just how impactful he has been in this generation of music. There are very few rappers who have a strong enough fan base to get away with simply not dropping music. I think the reason for this is because Carti will forever be known as someone who brought his own sound to hip-hop and inspired a whole generation of rappers behind him. But no matter how hard you try to clone a sound, there will only ever be one true person who can satisfy that craving, leaving fans willing to wait as long as it takes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider liking and subscribing for more.
Facts, you heard him. crazy. 5 years later, he just dropped a crazy album, bro. Like the album that he dropped 5 years later got me watching his story now. I ain't gonna say I'm a crazy Carti fan or whatever, but bro, he different, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I had to come see the story behind it. I had to come see like what made him start making this good ass music. You know. Hope y'all enjoyed that though. I ain't gonna lie. I did. It was a short one, but I'm gonna keep them coming.